Hi, this is R.A. Cook again, and we're on Module 5. Now you should be on a roll. You should have your story written at least in the first draft, and so I recommend that you keep on going. One story does not a writer make, I'm sorry to say, so I suggest you try your hand at another story, and another, and another, and another, and another, till you get it really, really good and solid, and you are the writer you want to be. So it's time to build a new story. Once the writing momentum starts, you're going to find that you're going to have more story ideas popping into your mind, occupying your writing time. So jump in with both feet and move down that writing path. It's really the only way to actualize your dream, your writer's dream. The more you write, the better your writing will become. Your observations will crystallize. You'll see stories everywhere. The what if factor takes hold, and you'll want to write about everything every day. Once I thought I would write a short story, maybe two, and that would be it. However, my muse had other plans for me. Now I rarely miss a day of writing. Currently, I'm correcting one novel. I'm writing the first draft of another, which is the sequel to the novel prior. I'm finishing illustrations on a middle grade chapter book. There are several other children's picture books waiting in the wings, waiting for a chance to come into view. Whew, you say, and I say, I know, but it sounds like a lot, but that's normal for me, at least now. You'll find writing, good, intelligent, clear writing, takes time. So when I've got one project sitting, I've got another project out for the beta readers or to an editor, I still have more projects to fill my day and satisfy my muse. And I'm going to tell you, that's going to be important for you too. So it's keeping in the game. If you find you've created a character who has more potential and is willing to take on another plot, I highly recommend that you work on that angle. Yes, there are such characters. I have had a character who occupied my writing time for nearly a year. Her name is Lola, and she is a character. Her story started with a watercolor illustration I submitted to our local county fair. Normally, I get 1 or 2 ribbons in the annual art show, but this illustration was a dud. I got nothing and walked out shaking my head. I decided right then not to waste the effort and drafted a short story about Lola, and it took off. The story grew into a 40-page saga and is the springboard for a short story collection entitled Lola's Muse. There are many great authors in the world, but there's one I haven't mentioned, and his name is Ernest Hemingway. He's a favorite of mine. What I like best about Hemingway is his sparse but poignant prose. His background was in news reporting, which trained him to get to the point with just using a few words. Most, if not all, of his books were on the short side, as compared with such greats as Gore Vidal, James A. Michener, and on. When Hemingway began writing fiction seriously, he lived with his first wife, Hadley, in Paris in 1921 to 1926. They were dirt poor. Determined to make a living as a writer, Hemingway walked to a French cafe every day and wrote his stories there in longhand. Here's an excerpt from A Movable Feast, which was a memoir he wrote about that time and was published after his death in 1964. On this evening I was thinking these wholesome but not original thoughts and feeling extraordinarily virtuous because I had worked well and hard on a day and when I wanted to go out to the races very badly. But at this time I could not afford to go to the races, even though there was money to be made if you worked at it. By any standards, we were still very poor, and I still made such small economies as saying that I had been asked out for lunch, and then spending 2 hours walking in the Luxembourg Gardens and coming back to describe the marvelous lunch to my wife. When you are 25 and are a natural heavyweight, missing a meal makes you very hungry, but it also sharpens all your perceptions. And I found that many of the people I wrote about had very strong appetites and a great taste and desire for food, and most of them were looking forward to having a drink. I recommend any of Hemingway's novels and short stories. Read them and use them as resources. His list is long, but here are a few that I would highly recommend. The Old Man and the Sea, which was a novel and also a movie. A Farewell to Arms, a novel and a movie as well. Winner Take Nothing, a short story collection. Men Without Women, also a short story collection, and of course, A Movable Feast. Much has been written about Ernest Hemingway's life. To say the least, he was multifaceted, larger than life. But his work stands out. He won both the Pulitzer and Nobel Prize in literature. I'd recommend that you take a look at his work. Here are some suggestions and motivations for you. Make an effort to keep your story ideas active. Be sure and take notes, vivid notes. A hint of inspiration can lead to another short story, a novella, a memoir piece, or, the big one, a novel. So start submitting your stories to literary magazines, writing contests. You can submit to multiple publications at the same time, as long as you make note of it in your cover letter or on the online subscription form. Most publications are willing to accept multiple submissions. Some are not. Be sure to check. In the bonus Q&A with Jill Twist, the editor, she'll go over the finer points of how to submit your story or manuscript. But for now, keep those notes. Another suggestion is to join the local open mic. And this is a really, really important thing if you've got that in your community, because it's a place where you can try out your stories, see if people are interested in them. My first open mic reading at our local library absolutely terrified me. I was shaking. My voice was shaking. But my goal was to read my part of the short story, my first short story, because I wanted to see if anybody was interested in hearing what I had to say. I wanted to know if the story hooked the listener. My heart absolutely pounded as I read, and my voice was quivering all the way through. But I managed to get through it, and to my surprise, I was applauded. People stood up. One woman said, "Amazing! Wow, I couldn't have been happier." But it took me all of my courage to expand that short story. And I did it. And now I've created a novel, which is going to be coming out this year, called Going Out the Inroad. Yippee! Another good way to expand your writing career is going to writing workshops. They're a great way to get more knowledge about writing and publishing, what to do next, and where to go. In Module 6, Jill Twist, who is a skilled editor, will answer questions about the editing process. So I want you to be sure to take a look at that. It's the Module 6 bonus module Q&A with Jill Twist. Be sure to watch that and then take notes. There'll be a handout with it as well that will cover a lot of that information, but it's a really, really valuable information that you'll need after you've finished your story. So take a look. And lastly, sign up for a creative writing course. Start a blog. Challenge yourself with writing prompts every day. Go and mix with local writers in your area in the coffee shop or at the library. You'll find fellow writers stumbling along right with you. Everyone has strengths and everyone has weaknesses. And if you can build a camaraderie with those writing folks, I think you'll find that that'll be most helpful for you and also for them. One of the very best ways to improve your writing technique is to join a writers group. If you don't have one in your area, I recommend that you form one. I belonged to a writers group for 5 years and found it very, very helpful for me. We met once a week for 90 minutes. We shared work. We wrote 10-minute writing prompts and then shared our prompts afterward. We discussed all kinds of writing issues and had teaching moments and all kinds of different attitudes at the table. There were 5 or 6, and we all thought about writing in very different ways and had very different inputs to stories that were contributed. But it was fun, it was informative, and it was absolutely crucial for me as a writer. If you don't have one, go to your library and put up a poster and see if there's any interest in your area, because you'll probably find people who are really interested in learning how to write or contributing writing. And I know you'll find a good amount of benefit from doing that. And also, with the Talk Story group, you can share some of your writing prompts there, and that'll be equally helpful for you. But you just need to get out there and do a few things on your own to promote yourself as a writer. So, in summary, build a new story, maybe one, maybe two. Just keep it going, keep rolling, keep in the game. Make note of your story ideas and submit your story to literary magazines or contests. Join a local open mic group. Attend a writer's workshop or a conference in your area. Join or form a writer's group on your own. Sign up for creative writing courses and start a blog. Just keep writing, keep going out there, keep writing. And here's your writing tip for Module 5. Choose your favorite character from your story and write a scene or multiple scenes in which the character interacts with you. And use dialogue in this, like you're talking to your character. It'll help form the background information of that character, and you'll really become friends with that character. So choose your favorite character from your story. Write a scene or multiple scenes in which your character interacts with you with dialogue. I think that'll be some fun for you. Here's your Module 5 challenge. Take 10 minutes and write a paragraph or two about the first memory that you can recall as a child, and share this with a friend or drop it on the Talk Story Facebook group and chat it up. All right, I'm going to see you there. Okay, that's it for Module 5. What's next? It's the Q&A with Jill Twist, the editor, and she'll be able to help you kind of flesh out what you need to do for your story to submit it. Don't miss this. This is good information for you. See you there.